All right, we out here. Back again. Thank you for your patience, everybody. No. Ooh, not even plugged in yet. Hopefully get rid of this annoying echo. First thing I upgrade is going to be this headset. Open chat. Damn, just bear with me guys a moment here. Some interesting stuff to go over today. Hi Danza. Send this to the gang. Don't know how I got rid of chat on the side. On the side here. Oh my goodness, can't talk. Nope. Dang, I don't know how. Wake up, boys. Tetron's live. Let's go. I'm here. Thanks for being here, Windfall. Appreciate you, man. How do I open? I had the chat. I just need. Alright, I'll be right back. I need to get another device to have the chat on the other side. Just keep the stream, you know, a nice little side view, a little streamer action. I'll be right back, guys. Out here. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Let's get the side cam going. Alright, it's officially stream number 3. Later on, you guys can catch me on here. I'm going to be playing Super Sluggers with my brother. It's going to be great. If you've never seen Wii Super Sluggers, epic. Definitely recommend playing. It's like a game of my childhood. It was so much fun. It's going to be great. Dang, this is not working, huh? Whoa. How's the sound? If somebody could tell me how I sound, if it's not too bad, or like, If it's echoing again, I know I was having a little bit of problems last time. Oh, I have the sound right here. There we go. How's the sound? If somebody could tell me how I sound, if it's not too bad, or like if it's echoing again, I know I was having a little bit of problems last time. Okay, that sounds pretty decent, but can't hear the background stuff. Let's see if that sounds a little better. Oh, wait a minute, that's gotta be so annoying. I'm so sorry, guys. I just realized what I'm doing. Okay, growing pains right here. But here we are. R/super stonk, will it fall? That is the question. I certainly hope not, but it's possible. Alright, oh, I gotta tweet this out. That's the other thing I gotta do. Oh, I have to add the photo. That's what I have to do. How do I do that? Really, I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. Thank you for being here, whether you're watching this live or watching this back. Alright, whatever. I can't get the photo. I'm just tweeting out this stream. That's all we're gonna do. Alright. I don't want you guys to hear this. So now I'll just mute that. Okay. Slight adjustment there. Boom. Okay. Damn, you guys are quick with it on Twitter. The retweets already. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. Alright, hope the chat is loading on the side screen if need be. Let's get some water and I'll jump into things. So the main thing everybody's talking about right now is book versus plan. So I started to look into it a little bit and just like critically think about it, because that's just what I do. I read what other people say, I try to look into things, and I try to critically think and think, okay, this is what I think, and here's why, right? This is a little side action, but first, something I found that was really interesting, right? Because there's plan versus book, and first off, the differences are that a plan share, right, is basically you can have a fractional share, and you have the DRIP, the automatic dividend reinvestment program. So that allows you, if a stock pays a dividend, in GameStop's case, they don't currently, and they haven't in a very long time, but they're now able to do that, right? It would automatically happen, but other companies do it, and basically it's allowed through this plan, right? Whereas when you buy a share on Fidelity, call them up, say I want a DRS, and then you get that thing in the mail that says DTC withdrawal, that's a book share. That's why you can only send a full share over to Fidelity, right? I'm sorry, over to DRS from Fidelity or another brokerage. You need to send full shares. That's book versus plan. Plan, you can have fractional, and reason being is if you had automatic dividend reinvestment, it would be in the form of a fractional share. Most likely, the chances that it falls to be exactly one share in terms of whatever amount of shares you have for the dividend cash amount, it wouldn't happen, right? So basically what I'm saying is any dividend would be paid in the form of shares right into that plan, right? Because you can have fractional shares in a plan. And I thought, why can you have fractional shares in a plan and not book? Because book whole shares are supposed to represent certificates, right? But just in electronic form. So that's thus far, right? Quickly checking, everything looks good. We're doing good. Okay. So then, right, what I have right here, I thought DTC participants, right? I've showed this before. I'll show it again. I'm going to get back to this. But I started looking into it. I'm like, how does dividend reinvestment work, right? How does the dividend reinvestment program work? Who allows it? How does it happen? Sure enough, I think I found something interesting. Let's see this. So DTCC.com, dividend reinvestment. The DTC dividend reinvestment program allows clients to reinvest income payments for additional securities. The DTC DRIP program also includes an opt-out feature where income payments on certain issues have automatically reinvested in securities, and DTC clients have the opportunity to instruct to receive cash instead. So I said, okay, that's interesting, and I found a couple other things going on here. Let's look at refresh. So how the service works, where was it? DTC's corporate actions processing service for distributions. Participating organizations can retrieve and track interest and immortalize principal payment information and collect the distribution of all dividend and interest allocations. Received interest payments in the currency that have formed blah 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 blah. Where is it? Dividend reinvestment. Here we go. Process instructions for dividend reinvestment program DRP eligible securities. So book, you can't do this, but plan, you can. So I started thinking like, okay, well, ComputerShare is not within the DTC, but sometimes people want to sell shares on ComputerShare, right? Again, I'm speaking generally for all of ComputerShare shares, like of all companies that are using ComputerShare as a transfer agent. But basically, they have to move them in and out sometimes. Sometimes they have to execute sells, sometimes they send to brokerages. And I noticed a long time back that some of my shares randomly moved from book to plan. I didn't authorize a ComputerShare, just did it. And I thought that was interesting, but that was a long time ago. I think literally almost a year ago now. And that was just for like very few of my shares. But I thought that was interesting. Where I'm going with this though, is this DTC participant list. And if you're looking even right here, right, where is it? What is DTC participant? The drip through the DTC. See, DTC website allows clients to reinvest income payments for additional securities. That's what I showed over here. I had one other piece of information somewhere down here, but I lost it when I refreshed. But where I'm going is ComputerShare has a DTC reference number, right? ComputerShare Trust Company. But we know shares at ComputerShare are being registered for DRS. But that makes me think that's the difference between plan and book. Plan is dividend reinvestment automatically, right? And shares that are being transferred in and out of ComputerShare, that's also the fractional share thing. And they're doing it through their DTC participant number, right? They're not letting anybody lend through ComputerShare. But if the DTC, there's some shady things going on there in the name of Seed&Co, some of the shares that maybe are in plan, that's going on. I'm just suggesting that. I want to be very clear. I don't have any evidence to definitely say that, but that's what I'm concluding based on what I just kind of showed you. Or I more so have the thought, can book, if I have all my shares in book instead of plan, can it really hurt me? I don't think so. I think at the worst, it doesn't make a difference. At the best case scenario, it doesn't make a difference. At the worst case scenario, it does matter. And the reason might be because ComputerShare right here has a DTC participation number. I still haven't been able to confirm yet if that's specifically for transfers to brokerages or the selling of shares or fractional shares, dividend reinvestment program, anything like that. But I'm just saying, like, it's interesting. They have the participation number. And seeing all this talk of book and plan, and Ryan Cohen just so happens to come out as the book king, I don't know, that's where my head's at with things. Let me know what you guys think right now. Alright, everything's still running smooth here. So if anybody has any thoughts, like, I'm just curious. But I don't know. Just suggesting things. I don't really know anything for sure. But at the end of the day, I feel good that my shares are in ComputerShare. Thanks for the DD. Thank you for watching, Kevin. I appreciate you being here, man. Just some stuff I thought about and looked into, and I just wanted to share. I'm not, and anytime I'm doing a stream or a video, I'm never trying to be like, oh, I'll do this, everybody should be doing that, or oh my gosh, I'm a genius. I'm just like, all right, well, everyone's talking about this, I'm looking at this, I'm just going to talk about this is how I'm seeing it, And how I've referenced in the past, like all other transfer forms of other brokerages, they have this DTC clearing number. Where's Charles Schwab? You have right here as well. See tax ID, Schwab clearing number. It's interesting, it's really interesting that the whole ACAT system runs through this in the back office, right? Because I don't know if yes, I did mention this last time, it's only the second time mentioning it, but I work in back office transfers for what's called a non-DTC custodian. We basically have a bank charter, so we are still registered and all that, but we do private equity, and I work in the transfers department. So when I'm calling in the back office of Charles Schwab for like a cash transfer, I'm selecting a non-ACAT transfer, and it has to either be by wire or by check and like coded to it's a whole thing. But my point is, they have to I have to specifically talk about the non-ACAT line, right? So ACATs is specific to the DTC, and that's how they're all able to move the shares so quickly. Some good DD. What's your price target on GME? And thank you for that. And price target, honestly, I like to say what Roaring Kitty says, just up. Because when I personally think of MOAS, it's impossible to tell. I don't think anybody could truly tell you, oh, it's going to happen in a week, it's going to happen in a month, it's going to happen in a year. I don't truly know how it plays out. I'm just going to keep watching what's in front of me. And so long as the company's executing, and I believe there to be more upside and more unraveling the short interest, and again, just keep an eye on what's in front of me, I'm personally just going to hold shares, and when I financially feel it's right for me personally, I'll take some off the table. I always think individuals should do what they want for themselves. At the end of the day, you're probably here because you like GameStop. I like GameStop, so I'm just talking about it. So individuals should always make their own decisions in terms of a price target. But for me, I like to say just up for those reasons I just kind of laid out. I suppose what I read, plan is really good if we have a dividend, but since we don't, it won't matter. I believe you can sell shares with either plan or book. So I did all book. If I read clearly, they can still lend shares if you're on plan. Yeah, if it is on the DTC in some way, right? Like even if ComputerShare is not letting you lend out shares that are locatable in the DTC, market makers have all these privileges, right, as far as I understand, to be like, oh yeah, well, there's shares in the name of Seed & Co. and the reference, we can reference those. They're in the pool, and that's how they can make it shorter. Oh, we're going to buy it later. Oops, failure to deliver. Like that kind of stuff happens because there's shares in the name of Seed & Co. Maybe those planned shares, they're not being lent out by ComputerShare, but they're still technically in the name of Seed & Co., right? That's kind of just what I'm thinking here. Because it'd still be safe in ComputerShare, and ComputerShare will take care of it for you, and maybe but maybe it's not counted in the DRS, right? It's hard to say. It's definitely, it could be, was Ryan Cohen coming out that he's the book king now that some kind of reporting changed? Maybe that is low-key why the DRS count, again, just spitting all off the dome here, that is why the DRS count kind of went sideways, because more people DRS, but all of a sudden, like, planned shares didn't count, because I feel like most individuals that are DRSing either have the automatic buy program, but I feel like that's a smaller amount. Most people are buying in a brokerage and then transferring their shares, because when you're doing automatic, you don't know exactly what entry you're getting, whereas when I'm in my brokerage account, I'm like, this is $20 today, I gotta buy one. I see such a great entry, I know for sure I'm getting this, transfer it over, it's safe, it's in book. Is that the only company you own? Yep, right now. I mean, I have like very small amounts of money in like some very small things, but like what it is to GameStop is like pretty minuscule. Like it's put it this way, if it all went to zero, and as long as I had GameStop and even GameStop's current value, I'd still be okay. So like most of it's kind of like in crypto, like some small amounts that I've had for like a long time, and just some small kind of things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Loopring. But I think Bitcoin really is like a 4-year cycle, but I'm a GameStop guy all around, so I just keep an eye on things. I read things as a whole, but I'm a GameStop guy. How do you find your cost average in ComputerShare? They need to make it easier. I forgot exactly. I think it's under actions or details. The thing is, like, I can't really pull it up because then I'll be pulling up all my information. Like maybe I can make a video on that. Low-key, maybe I should make a video on ComputerShare just going through some stuff, because then obviously I could edit it and like black out all my information, but be like, hey, here's how you find this, here's how you understand this. I've had this question for a long time. How come there hasn't been a whistleblower on anything about fake shares or synthetic types of shares? Why hasn't no one come forward? I think there's a lot of reasons, right? It could be, right? I feel like Dave Lauer's kind of like a whistleblower, but like, I don't know, he just has some inside info there. Like, he only talks about so many things. But I also low-key feel like There's also Susan Trimbath. She's kind of a whistleblower. So they're kind of out there, right? But if you notice Susan Trimbath, before like Twitter, all the craziness happened, she never had a check mark. It's like they wouldn't verify her, which I just found interesting because I'm like, she's 100% legit. But in terms of like why there's been other whistleblowers, I honestly think like there's some very powerful people out there that if you said the wrong thing, like people know like some very bad things might happen to you. Like maybe that's a little tinfoily hat, but I just feel like it's not even so much so that there's like one big collusion at the top. Like actually I read this on Superstock. I don't know exactly who said it or how they said it, but when there's a lot of parties, like large parties financially, right, involved, that all just have the same interest in mind, they don't necessarily need to be like talking, colluding, but they all have like the same interest in mind. Like it just naturally kind of happens. Like that's, I'm not wording that amazingly, but I feel like that's kind of what it is too. And the small voices like Dr. Susan Trimbath and Dave Lauer, like the small things they're doing kind of get drowned out sometimes. But thank you all for being here. Got heads here. Appreciate you all. But DTCC, crazy. But it's interesting because I was trying to look up too, like book shares and like dividend reinvestment. Is there anything of the sorts? Like I'm sure you can still receive a dividend if you have book shares, but it might be just a different process. But there's nothing on like a dividend reinvestment program for book shares, so I do find that interesting. Yeah, and I showed this here before. It's literally on their website specifically. What do I have? Why does computer share have DCC reference number? Just literally try to look it up. See, they literally have it. Like, where was it? Oh yeah, this is a great picture. I'm sure this is going around a lot. I'll go back to this, but there's a couple other things to show. Oh, how do I transfer my shares? See, your bank's affiliate in the United States broker must then request the shares to be transferred by a depository trust company's direct registration profile system, which is basically the ACAT system. Maybe not exactly for transferring DRS shares, but brokerage to brokerage is ACAT system. And that's NSCC, National Securities Clearing Corporation. That's an entity of the depository trust company. And the NSCC allows for the ACAT system because all the shares are in the name of C&Co. So what you're seeing here is you enter the computer share DTC number 7807. If you're in reinvestment program, you must confirm the total number of shares in the plan prior to carrying out the transfer. A small charge may be charged by your bank for this service. I mean, I'm reading plan here. I'm reading plan. So that's why I'm thinking like book. Ryan Cohen's the book king. It's interesting, right? It's definitely interesting. And to transfer outbound, to a broker, that's what it seems like. To transfer U.S. listed shares from your account with ComputerShare to your own broker, visit this and go about this. But see, your affiliates in the United States broker must then request shares to be transferred by a depository trust company's direct registration profile system and enter the ComputerShare DTC number 7807. And I would imagine if you have book shares and plan shares and then you wanted to go to a brokerage, right, for like whatever stock, you would probably have ComputerShare behind the scenes taking the shares, putting them all in plan, and then sending them through ACAT or through DTC number 7807. Let's see, 3 crypto billionaires died all in a short span. If you were to screw the system, even by rules, you run a great risk to be off. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Like that's, they'd say, if you get to be like a certain size or you large enough audience, you grow large enough, like it's scary in a way because like great power, great responsibility, and like you kind of said, 3 crypto billionaires did strangely just go missing in the past like whatever amount of month or two. Crazy. I don't know, man. I just keep buying 0.5 at a time, or does that say 5? Oh no, I just keep buying period 5 at a time. Well, whether you're buying 0.5 or 5, whatever you can do, man. I mean, if you like the stock and you have money to invest, that's a great thing. Something I definitely learned with GameStop is just for my investing career going forwards, I have so much time till I retire and everything. never just buy in, right? Just buy consistently and what you can afford to and feel comfortable to, because over time you learn things, you see more happen with the company, and you feel good about averaging in because you understand that you're buying into something you believe in, that you continue to read about, and you're just building good long-term habits because you're averaging into something. And if GameStop, right, or any stock starts going up a ton, then you're like, okay, well, now I'm not chasing this. I was buying when it was dipping because I saw what it was long-term before the market as a whole. 5 shares at a time, nice. I buy usually, honestly, like 1 or 2, but like pretty consistently. It depends on the week, but I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, just got a speeding ticket, actually 2 in Arizona. I got finessed by the cameras. I'm an absolute clown, but I have to show you guys this. Tetron's Need for Speed. Let's see. Do you think we need to lock up all shares or just a certain majority? I feel like individual shares, right, the DRS count, right, insider shares such as Ryan Collins are the ultimate shares, but I feel like institutional shares, maybe. We'll have to see what happens. Like, if more shares start to be registered in the name of individuals and DRS, and then if you add on institutions and it goes over 100%, then it's like, wait a minute, even the reported number, something's wrong here. So I think when we get near that point, it's one of those things, before the door completely closes, somebody will rush for the door and be like, all right, and then it'll kick things off. And if GameStop's profitable at the same time, maybe someone goes long, like lots of different things could happen, I feel like. But I have to show you guys real quick about this. Need for Speed Tetron, look at this violation. Look at this cheese. I gotta see if it's coming up good on here. Do fractional shares add together to make whole shares, or do you get a ton of fractionals? Okay, so basically, I'm glad you added that. How I understand it, actually from watching Richard Newton's video, it was a video a while back, that if you have point something shares, if there were to be a sweep program or something to happen, your fractional shares could be automatically sold. If you move all your full shares to book, and then leave only a fractional in plan, it could be wiped out. You want to leave 1 point something or 1 share in plan and a fractional to avoid that potential risk from happening. So fractional shares would add together over time, right? Like, so if you buy like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, it does start to add together. And then if you're moving it to book, you'd be able to move full shares to book and then just keep like 1 point something to avoid, again, running that risk. Because Richard Newman is basically saying, like, there's some kind of rule, or there could be some kind of sweep that could happen where the company and somebody could kind of step in and be like, we're going to sweep all the fractionals. I dollar cost average on a big sale. I'll double dollar cost average. That's a good man. That's a good move. That's how you roll. Finessed by the Matrix. Any update on GME NFT platform? Well, recently they launched the Immutable X. That was a great thing because Immutable X is onboarding a lot of games, and they actually have a grant program where they're paying games in the form of Immutable X tokens, essentially, to kind of onboard people to using Immutable X blockchain and just technology as a whole to combine Web3 and games. So that's really exciting for GameStop Wallet, and now you have it on the iOS so they can get more users on the go. I can be like, yo, check out my NFT. Yo, get the GameStop Wallet, let me activate it for you right now. Stuff like that. So those are some new developments there. Wow, you got smoked, bro. I did. Dude, I did. I am a clown. 2 tickets. Literally, it's in the same spot too. It's like Indian, and it's like Indian School Road or something in Arizona. I don't even know. So it might be a school zone. So the thing is, it was in a rented car. So I just found out yesterday, even though I was away like weeks ago, and I don't even know what it is yet. And stupid Hertz. Hertz is trash. Never use Hertz. Absolute garbage. Honestly, I think it's the worst one. Don't use it. There's a reason their stock is doing like crap. It's because they suck. And literally, they're making me pay $30. I mean, I'm sure they all have this, but still, Hertz blows. $30 each to transfer the liability of the ticket. So I have to pay $60 just to find out how much it's going to cost me to pay these things off. So, like, I really hope GameStop stops dipping, honestly, right now. It gets a nice rip, because to watch it keep dipping, I'm like, oh, I want to buy. I mean, of course, whatever happens, happens, but it's going to be like, dang. I don't know what's coming with this parking ticket. I gotta chill right now. So, do you think companies are going to start utilizing credit default swaps? Think there's swaps out there already, one way or another. Something's going on. They're out there, absolutely. I think one way or another, companies are probably using them. Will they use them more? I don't know. I think it depends how shady, crazy things kind of get. Question: is it a good time to buy GME? Personally, I believe it's always a good time to buy GameStop, but of course, I'm not here to provide financial advice, only personal thoughts and opinions. But I personally think it's a good time. If you look at a company in general at its 52-week low, generally, you're just buying the dip there. So generally, I would say it's a good time to buy a stock you believe in. Swagman says swag. Shout out to you, Swaggy. Shout out to you. G America 741. You see, the media has been saying GameStop exited crypto NFTs, laughing my ass off. Blatant lies. And GPP sure hurts. It hurts trash. But yes, that is so facts, G America. Because a lot of people say to me like, oh, how's GameStop doing now that they're in NFTs? Nobody buys JPEGs anymore. I'm like, bruh, you don't even understand. It's digital assets, and that's not what GameStop's NFTs are trying to do. And if you read GameStop's quarterly earnings report, they specifically say we have no currencies on our balance sheet. We're not holding actual NFTs. We're not holding cryptocurrency. We're just providing the platform to do it. That's what we're doing with the wallet and the marketplace, and that's the way they monetize. Like, they take that small fraction of the marketplace, and it's power to the players, power to the creators, because it's gaming, and it's going to be in-game items, and it's going to be power to the creators, game creators, individuals that create NFTs with utility. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think it's more than just NFTs. It's, people might call it digital assets. People might call it something else another day, right? Because NFTs now, the name is so stained, and everything that's gone on with the FTX and everything. People that I literally talk to, like coworkers, are like, NFTs, oh, those are trash, yo. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, GameStop's in these? I'm like, no. Like, it's not what you think. I promise. It's amazing how little volume moves this stock so violently. And G America, exactly? Yes, man, you get it, man. But how little the volume moves the stock, that is facts. And I personally do believe that shares being withdrawn from the DTC, because the shares of the name is Seed & Co. Like I said, swap-a-roonies, back and forth, left, right, circle, shares are going who knows where, right, on a day-to-day basis. But if they're outside of there, they're registered in book into individual's name, right? Plan, not so sure about anymore. But if they're booked to individuals' names, then it's like, I don't know, can't do anything with them. So suddenly the stock is trading less, right? And there's still constant FUD about it, constant volatility in this market, and GameStop is just volatile every single day no matter what. Whereas in the past, I would say the market was equally as volatile, on the upside, but I don't know. I thought they did say in the earnings call that they sold their crypto and do not hold digital assets right now. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're not like holding, like they're not leveraging share capital as shareholder capital, as they put it, like owning Ethereum in any way. Like, they're just having the platforms out there. You're absolutely right. Good afternoon, Hertz Rent-A-Car. Good afternoon, man. It's kind of night here, but good afternoon. And yeah, Hertz, trash. I got so finessed, right? I'm so stupid because I'm only 22. So I was renting through Chase, right? I got a Chase credit card. I've been doing the rewards through there, so it's pretty good. And then by far the cheapest one is Hertz. And I'm like, dang. All right, like all of you are charging me the young renter's fee, but Hertz has the best deal. I'm like, Hertz is going to be trash, but like the deal's good and I'm paying online. So like, whatever. I've never rented a car, so what do I know? I get there and they're like, $297. I'm like, $297? I'm like, I already paid. It's like, oh, you need the liability, this, and your $100 young renter's fee. I'm like, bro, how is this not charged online? I already paid $200. So I only paid the young renter's fee. I waived the insurance because my Chase credit card, by the way, some credit cards have this, only specific ones. I have the Chase Sapphire Preferred because I really want to start traveling. It's a future goal of mine to keep just continuing to do that, so that's why I got the card. But I have primary insurance, right? So God forbid there's an accident on vacation in the rental car. It's supposed to be primary insurance, right? Which basically means if I get in an accident, my credit card is providing some kind of insurance before they go to my personal insurance, right? So I waived all that stuff. And then he's like, oh, okay. I told him, and he's like, oh, but you might want to get this. It's another thing. If the car's in the shop, something happens. I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, I just told you I had to waive this. So I was like sitting there and I was talking to him, and I was like, bro, I literally said to him, I'm like, I feel like I'm getting fleeced if I pay $300. I'm waiving this. Like, plus I'm like, I think I have this primary insurance thing, so whatever. Hertz, garbage. Then I get down there, right, to walk in, and they're like, oh, just go down there, section A. I'm like, okay. Giant parking lot. Don't even see Hertz at all. I see other rent-a-cars. Ask some lady, she's like, oh, go all the way down there until you see the yellow. Okay. I go down there, go in the little booth, and I like finally get to the front of the line in there, and they're like, oh, just go down there. You have it like this type of the rental? Oh, any car in the last 2 rows. Okay. I go to the last 2 rows. I'm like deciding, because they're all like scratched up, so I'm like, yo, I'm going to get blamed because I'm mad young. So I got to pick one that's not scratched. So I'm like, taking so long to decide, right? And my girlfriend's getting so annoyed with me because I'm taking so long. I'm like, oh, this one. Finally decided, we put all our bags in the car. Go to start it. It's a push to start. Doesn't even start, yo. The car doesn't even start. I'm like, are you for real right now? Like, what is this garbage? Hertz? Trash. So basically, I just got out of the car. We picked another one. Then I picked the wrong one. I was supposed to pick a Class B vehicle. I picked a Class C. But I wound up with a 2021 Toyota Corolla, which is pretty nice, honestly. So couldn't complain about that. But drove it out of there, and I was like, yo, what is this garbage? Wind up with 2 tickets, too. Renting a car sucks. Okay. They're also saying GameStop partnered with FTX for NFTs. That's facts, G America. It makes no sense. It's not even true. It's literally not even true. And nobody wants to talk about the whole tokenized stock thing. Like, I don't know exactly what's going on there. I've tried to get into that a little bit, but I just can't wrap my head around it. So that's why I haven't talked about it too much. But it's like, the fact it was created right before they took off the buy button. They literally removed the buy button the very next day when this had like peak social sentiment, everything that was going on at the time, like the meme saga, right? The meme rally of January 2021, whatever you want to call it, where everything was just crazy. Wall Street bets was at all-time highs, right? That week before, I had been trading like Palantir calls like a clown and made a bunch of money. And I actually YOLO'd it into a GameStop call. And then I made a ton, and that's what got me into things. And then I lost a bunch on a call, and then I was like, you know, this is why everybody says hold shares. And here I am with shares today. Did you see IBKR? Oh, International Brokers has 0 shares to borrow. Yeah, I've seen that, but like, I don't know, that number's always fluctuating. There's always something funky going on. Just the fact it's always something weird, and the number just goes to 0, it's like, I don't know, something's weird, you know what I mean? Like, I think, yeah, it's sus, but it's just another thing where it's like, oh, it's just a glitch, huh? You know, like, it'll just be like swept under the rug, and like shares will probably come back, and I don't know. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on, but I just feel like there's so much just craziness. I just see it, and I'm like, ugh, just another glitch, you know? Like, is AMC a buy? LOL. Raider Bow? No, I personally do not believe it's a buy. Simply put, Adam Aaron, not a good dude. He comes out like, oh, I love the apes, this and that, but Ape was honestly created to dilute the stock. They need to raise money because the company's heavily in debt, and they just unfortunately don't have good business structure, overpaid executives. So I personally just don't like AMC, but that's just me. At the end of the day, individuals can always make their own decisions, but I don't think it's a buy, and I really don't ever think it's a buy. I don't ever think I will think it's a buy unless something very dramatic happens. But it could go up if there's like a meme basket, right? I will say that anything could happen, and they could be shorting on purpose to make it go up. The next time you need GameStop to run, right? Anything could happen. There could be any kind of ploy, any kind of play. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? Stonko Tracker says 0 shares to borrow and confirmed by people at a broker too. Oh, that's crazy. I mean, it's good. I mean, it's more, you know, what do they call it? Just evidence on the path. So whatever, like, you know, it's just more, hey, you know, there's a reason a lot of individuals have been talking about this and just buying up shares and registering them in their name. I've had serious problems with Hertz. Hertz sucks, I agree. It's facts. Never again. I'd love to see travel live streams, even if it's not actually traveling, just you on the go. Honestly, that'd be mad funny. Maybe I should do that, JPV. Good idea, man. Good idea. Sluggers later. That's been my first unique stream. You guys have to watch. We Mario Sluggers. It's amazing. Even if you don't like baseball, It's gonna be great. Yeah, they always keep coming up with new shares. Just took them longer. Usually it's a day. That's a good point. Usually it's kind of like that if they confirmed it and it was there for a long time. It's certainly interesting. Stopping by to say hello. Busy getting stuff done tonight. Ryan Sung, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. You're a real one. Thank you. I learned that AMC keeps copying GME and switches the names. That's why I got out. That's facts, man. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be an AMC, and it was seeing guys like Morantz and the Lightning Warrior watching their videos and them laughing at it, or like Lightning would just be like laughing, and then Morantz would just spitting the facts, like that combo. I was like, I mean, they're both spitting facts, don't get me wrong, but just, like Lightning Warrior just has like a goofy way about it. It's like he's just clowning on the AMC people in like one of his streams, but whatever. Point is, I realized that, and I also looked into it too. I didn't just see that and be like, oh, okay. I did my own due diligence, and I started realizing, like, this guy Adam Aaron is not this silverback he seems. I started realizing this man is a shilverback, Oh, I'm good. I thought my thing said disconnected. Okay, yeah. Alright, we're chilling. Dude, I'm being attacked. I'm being naked shorted right now. But yeah, it's crazy. No, what I was saying, I was going on a rant about AMC. They diluted like crazy with Ape. The shareholders voted to not dilute, and they're like, ugh, I'm Adam Aaron. I'm creating the Ape. It's a special token for shareholders. GameStop's gonna do a stock dividend. Ooh, we'll do this ape dividend, right? Ooh, it's for the apes. Everybody loves the apes. Oh, yes. Dilute. Gave everyone that at a value of $10 per share. Sold it, right? To the public. To dilute that share count. After they voted to not do it with AMC. They diluted it like crazy at an average cost of like 180 something. Ape is below $1 now. It's literally a penny stock. So they're probably going to have to do a reverse split eventually if it stays below $1, because now it's not even NASDAQ eligible if it remains below $1 for like X amount of time. Forgot exactly how long that is, but and they were selling shares at $1.80 average cost. Like, give me a break. This thing came out at $10 a piece and immediately went crazy. When you talk trash on AMC, your stream will fail every time. Honestly, I feel like it could happen, man. They're going to short the stream. Marty NWT. No, but really, at the end of the day, if anybody out there does own AMC, that's your decision. I'm sorry, I don't like Adam Aaron personally, because I just feel like, I mean, not personally, but like I just feel like he comes out like he's so glorious and he's so great. Whereas you have a guy like Ryan Cohen just put his head down like, all right, we're gonna work, and then everybody's like, they're the same, and they're just simply not. Ape is 68 cents from 1050. Ouchie. It is. It's like the scene of Wall Street. Ouchie. Like that's ouchie. Yeah. I remember when Trey's Trades tweeted, "Ape is the solution. Don't complicate it," or something. What? The solution to dilute? Like, it's funny. Even like guys like him, Matt Kors moving on from AMC. That really told me, like after a while, even they saw the writing on the wall. They're like, okay. But something interesting I want to talk about here real quick. We just skipping questions. Oh, yo, my bad, man. Sorry. Where is it? Any suggestions on /guides on converting plan shares to book in computer share? Private. My bad, man. Or gal. Sorry. No, I don't skip questions. But I'm going to call in the computer share and I will come back on a stream and let you know that, because I'm not exactly sure, but as far as I understand, the easiest way would be to call into ComputerShare and request through them. I believe I did ask them through the chat once a while back, and I don't think they can do it through their customer service chat. I believe it would have to be on the phone, unless you actually do it through actions. I saw on Reddit you can do like actions, cancel plan, and it'll automatically move all your shares to book except the fractional, but then you can cancel the fractional from being sold automatically. However, if there's ever like a sweep or something, I believe that can be automatically sold. I'm not too sure. All good. My bad. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. But since I'm randomly on this and this just so happens to be there, I deal with this at my job. Medallion signature guarantee, I'll explain to you guys. So sometimes you need this to sell stock. So I actually have an LLC set up for Tetron, for building my YouTube channel and just my future endeavors or ventures, whatever you want to call it. I actually created it before I even created my YouTube channel, and I was like, I'm going to have a business of some kind. I'm creating this. So I opened a brokerage account and I created a LLC account. And I wound up obviously moving all the capital into GameStop. Had a couple other small positions, but I was like, nah. I talk about GameStop on Tetron. It's all going to be in GameStop. Even if there's small positions, why not just sell them and put them in GameStop? Because I honestly thought the market was going to go down too, and the market's starting to go down. But anyway, I sold their stocks, put it into GameStop, kept adding to GameStop until the whole thing's in GameStop. Transfer the shares to ComputerShare, right? So now all my LLC shares are on ComputerShare. So I have two ComputerShare accounts, one for myself as an individual and another account for my LLC. But I actually found out for my LLC, if I want to sell a share at GameStop, right? Like that's a sin. Who's selling? Who would have thought? No price targets, just up. But no, realistically, down the line, of course, I want to be aware of the action to take. So for selling a stock from an LLC account, right, a ComputerShare account registered to an EIN, because when you register your account, it's your social security number or to your EIN. So my shares registered to the EIN are booked as Tetron, right? And to sell them, I actually have to get this thing called a medallion signature guarantee. So it's not a notary, as you can see here. It's similar to it. It's basically like a stamp. Let me look it up. Just so you guys could see it. So basically it's like a stamp. It's similar to a notary, but instead you're just getting a stamp on there, and it's just like certifying, like when if I sign a piece of paper and the medallion officer's here, like that I'm at a bank with, I'm signing like my transfer document, for example, or in this case it would be a sell request from Tetron LLC to sell GameStop stock. I have to sign the transfer paperwork or the sell paperwork for selling for a business, for a stock. So I don't plan on selling GameStop till I think it's worth a ridiculous price. That's where it's selling at. I'll have to get my signature, then he'll have to stamp it and basically sign in front of me that he witnessed it, and then I'll have to give it to ComputerShare. Like I'll have to mail it into them. They'll have to process it, then process the request. So that's what a medallion signature guarantee is. So if you ever need one of those, you contact your local bank, because it's basically just a notary, but specifically for finance. Do the plan to book after hours so your fractional doesn't get sold. I didn't know that. That's good to know. But honestly, what I'm going to do is just keep 1 point something in the plan, like whatever fractional I have, just because I don't want that fractional to ever get swept away in any way. So I just figured I'll just keep 1 point something. But honestly, I haven't even bought on ComputerShare in like a very long time. I've I've only just bought on Fidelity, and I love messaging them like, DRS please, DRS 1 share, DRS 2 shares, like a very, small at a time, but it's like slowly adding. Like I work in the back office, like, how I said, like transfers of a non-DTC custodian, but we have an internal thing, right? An internal program where we take notes on each client, right? Of everything happening. So I just imagine mine, like at Fidelity, whatever internal system they use, spoke with client, DRS, messaged client, DRS, messaged client, DRS, messaged client, DRS request, confirmation number. Like that's probably what my note is every single time. If you look back at all my history, like with Fidelity, it's pretty funny. Did you hear about BlockFi? No, GPP. What's the latest with BlockFi? I know they went bankrupt. There was going to be someone maybe try and come in and save them or something. I don't really know exactly what's happening, but I know it's ugly. But tell me any updates you have. I'm curious. So we need a medallion, not just regular letter. I do know we need to send in letters once MOAS goes over a million or 100,000. Or no, that's a million. I'm not exactly sure if there's a threshold. Sometimes that is a thing in the financial industry, though. That's a great point. That a certain dollar amount, right? Once you go to sell, even if it's one or multiple shares, I don't know exactly computer shares policy. Every individual institution usually has their own policies of some kind. But basically, you'll have to get a medallion if maybe the total sale is over 100,000. Like I've done transfers for clients where their institution has like 160K rate of cash they need to transfer. They're going to bring over to make like a private equity investment. So their institution might have $100,000 like limit. Then anything over, they require the medallion, but they don't want to bother. So they'll just do 2 transfers of like 90,000 and like 70,000 just to make it all come through without needing the medallion. So you might be able to do that. But what I was bringing up medallion for is I don't think individuals need that unless it's over that dollar threshold. The reason I was bringing it up is if you happen to have shares in an LLC, that's what you would need. You would need a medallion signature because it's an EIN, and basically that medallion officer would be certifying that you're a registered individual or an executive for the LLC. But my LLC right now is just a single member LLC, so that's what's known as a disregarded entity, which basically means I'm the sole member of Tetron LLC. I own the whole thing. So I don't have to file separate taxes for Tetron because I'm the only owner. I just file with my regular taxes. If I start employing people, then I would have to file my own taxes for Tetron LLC, write myself down as a manager, potentially, income, things like that. But I'll tell you right now, anything that I make from this channel, I just recently got monetized. It's all going to be reinvested back in. I'm going to get a real headset, a real setup. So bear with me here. Anything I make is going to be just re-put into the business. The Mr. B style, I understood how he said it. It's all about growing. He literally to this day, which is just crazy to me because he's ginormous. I can't even imagine being that big. He literally needs like full-time security, I bet, like anywhere he goes in the world, because he literally, I don't know if you guys know this, he makes every single video and he pays people to like voice it over in like every single language. So he puts it out like all over the world, like everybody can watch it. But his whole style is constantly reinvest into his brand, which is Mr. Beast, and just growing more. And that's why he has Feastables now. He has Mr. Beast Burger. He has Mr. Beast Reacts, right? He has a gazillion things going on. He's huge. But it's all because he had constantly the idea of reinvesting it into himself. And I really like that ideology, and I really do want to stick with that and just do things like reinvest into a computer, to a headset, and just a real legit setup. Notarized letter from MOAS saying you want to sell at 50 million per share. I need to the moon. I need to find out the phone number for Computershare, at least the local office to call in case the internet goes down during MOAS. Don't forget, sir. That's a great point about beneficiary on Computershare. I do have it because I remembered I asked them once on like messaging. I was like, why do my shares say TOD? I was like, who's Todd? Todd spelled wrong. Todd, like, whatever. But they're like, oh, that stands for transfer on death. I was like, oh, yeah, I added a beneficiary, which basically just means in the event of something horrible happening to me, knock on wood, hope I live a long, happy, blessed life. But at least I know my family would have my GameStop shares. God forbid, Let's see what's going on at Super Stonk today. But I don't know of what the local office would be for Computershare or how that would work, but if the internet goes down during MOAS, that'd be crazy. But honestly, like, I'm starting to be in the boat that like MOAS will just be like a long, like if it isn't very rapid in some way, and I don't know how rapid, like week, month, couple months, it will be like drawn out over a long time, but it'll just be consistent upwards pressure, just like an inverse of what we're seeing this elongated period of time of the stocks being pushed down. Maybe it'll just be an inverse, just up. It's just all unravels eventually, right? I don't know. I have to read it a little bit more, but I'm walking my dog right now. Appreciate you being here, even when you're walking your dog, man. You're a real one. But apparently, if I read it correctly, the government might help them continue business and not go belly up. Don't get your hopes up, anybody. That's interesting. I'll definitely keep an eye on that. I do know a couple people associated with BlockFi, or sorry, not associated with BlockFi, have their funds in BlockFi and are associated with what's going on or trying to stay aware of what's going on. So I'll definitely keep reading into it. And you're including one of them, JPP. I know you got a little bit in there. I know you want to know what's up, or yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Got a brother who got a couple bucks in there. That's gonna be on the stream later. A lot of people got burned out there, man. If we're being real with BlockFi, it's crazy. I'm lucky I didn't have any funds in there, but like I said, my brother had a little bit. A couple other people I know. Luckily, nobody had like life crazy amounts of money, but the warnings were there, and now everybody knows you gotta own your own crypto, man. Gotta own your own crypto. It's all about the ledger. So, like, if I ever wanted to own a legit amount of Bitcoin, I definitely would get the ledger. This is interesting. This is crazy. Well, right now, it's overestimated 19 days to cover for shorts. Isn't that how long loss would be at XBIT, X Tetron? So that days to cover, how that number is calculated is based on public short interest. So it doesn't even include any short interest that's suppressed in option chains, swaps, right? However, it's being hidden so that it's not being reported in some way, or that's what I personally believe. What that 19 days to cover is calculated based on is the average, I believe it's 3-month volume, right? That's the number it's divided by. And the total number is the public short interest shares divided by average shares traded per day. So public short interest is probably like, I don't even know what it is right now, what, like 60 million? Something like that. I don't even pay attention to it, honestly, because I think it's just bogus. But if the average shares trading each day is like 3 million, and then there's like 60 million publicly shorted, that's 20 days to cover. So theoretically, if every public short position was covered based on the average trading volume each day, that wouldn't even include other like people making transactions, right, on the market. So it's just a very general, simple number. But it's also like everybody would be covering it once in theory. When is Tetron going to IPO? Honestly, seeing what happens to your shares in the DTC, I think I'll be private forever. Like, honestly. I'll maybe, sell some private equity one day, I'll be Tetron, swag capital. I don't know. Who knows what the world will look like in a few years, right? Like, reading some of Peruvian's Bull stuff, and I was listening to a little bit of him on Lightning's stream, actually this morning. I got to listen to more of it later or tomorrow or sometime. But he was saying, if you look at history repeats itself. Like, there's always been like some central entity or central bank that's had, a lot of control of what the central currency is, which, the dollar. And eventually it's fallen just out of, eventually, they get into this trap like he's saying we're heading into now, where it's either deflation, which is very bad, or hyperinflation. So it's kind of like, which way do you go? That's kind of what he's saying. As interest rates are going up, the pressure's on. And what is this trash right here? I do wonder why things like this keep popping up now. Thoughts on using IntraFi network to sidestep 250K FDIC insurance post-MOS? Honestly, I'm not familiar with IntraFi network. I'll have to look into that. Let's look it up real quick. And Tetron private forever with dividend insta-buy. I'll launch an NFT dividend. Let's go. It's a privately held firm with a network of financial institutions that approximately 1/3 of all U.S. commercial banks and thrifts all members. Huh. That's interesting. I feel like I'll see how things go and then I'll explore this. But if everything, I don't really know how I feel about all this. I do know how I feel. I want GameStop to go up a lot because I believe in the company. But in terms of things collapsing, I would love to just see GameStop go up to the absolute maximum point it could without the whole world crumbling. You know what I mean? If things happen I was kind of saying, Peruvian Bull was saying it, where it's people think the Western mentality is we've just, things are great, everything's right here, everything's established, everything's all fine and dandy. no like catastrophe could happen when evidently there's like, in my eyes, a huge black hole in the system with failure to delivers and the way the DTC operates in the name of Seed & Co. So like, it really does keep me up at night. It really does. I know JPP watching this, man, he knows that I've talked about it. This stuff keeps me up at night sometimes. And that's honestly low-key why I gotta take a break from this sometimes, because it's like, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. Texon, private equity fund. Ignore that little Tetron, private equity fund. Yeah, I was like, who's Sean? And I was like, why would I text him? But again, thank you all for being here. Appreciate you guys. What time is it? Damn, 7:30 already. Yeah, I'm going to talk about a couple other small things, then I'm going to wrap this up soon because I do want to take a break to eat, kind of reset myself. Then we're going to run some sluggers. Might do a little drinking game in the sluggers, might spice it up a little. If anybody has any ideas, welcome to take them for the stream later. If you're on there, you're welcome to throw them out there as well. Pretty sure current days to cover on GameStop is around 20 plus days. If that's trading days, could be damn near a month. Yes, that would be trading days, and yes, that's just, again, for public short interest. So it doesn't include anything suppressed in swaps, right? Because as we saw when Archegos went down with the files later on, they were massively, massively levered up, right, through equity swaps. There's one way they were hiding it without having to report it. So that's just one example, and there's lots of other little loopholes, right? Oh, all the shares in the name of Seed & Co. They're located there. Oh, little failure to deliver there, right? Oh, little shares in the ETF. Oh, market maker can open up the ETF and pick and choose and short specific shares, right? Like, I remember seeing it on a Reddit post one time, right? There was a specific day that pretty much every single stock in XRT was positive, but GameStop was like completely red, and it was an extremely green day for the market. This was like a long time ago, but it just made me think, like, that's them opening up. Some market maker out there is opening up that ETF and playing around with it that specific day. That's just my theory when I saw that specific thing, but just seeing things like that, you know, it's interesting. See, history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure as heck does rhyme. Mark Twain, Michael Scott. And yeah, see, like, I saw this the other day. What is this garbage? But I don't even know what platform that's on. Or no length of the Moss would depend on how long it would take when forced to cover 200% of the float at Denso. It would be based on liquidity. Yep, that's the thing too. That volume just assumes there's sellers out there. You know, look at the volume each day, and you know, there's all kinds of shady things going on. You know, it's routed through the dark pools. You see large block trades, right? What was it, like Friday? There was just like a huge volume spike after hours, like Thursday, Friday, something like that. And then there's off-exchange trades, right? Like, how it works is, I don't know exactly how to explain this, so take this with a grain of salt. Definitely recommend looking into this more. I should, let me just look it up right now. Off-exchange trade name. There's something, what was it, like a block trade or something like that. Oh yeah, over the counter, or basically it's a huge trade executed, right? It's popular in the financial world. Like, if it's, whether it's like a commodity, like a future, or even a stock, where two large institutions, right? Remember, there's somebody long and somebody short on each side of the trade, right? So there's large institutions like BlackRock that are loaning out massive amounts of shares, and they're loaning out massive amounts of shares, right? So that's two sides of the party. But to make a ginormous loan, or ginormous short sale, right? Or basically take a large position without it being executed on the exchange, especially where GameStop's at right now without a lot of volatility, you would want to do like a block exchange, like over the counter, so that like it's done, like it's negotiated, like, okay, we'll do it at this price based on like how the stock's trading, and then the volume will show up like after hours. It's more so done kind of like with options trades. It's done a lot with that because there's always a seller of an option and a buyer of an option. That's how I kind of come to understand that. But basically, there's always a seller of an option, always a buyer of an option. So sometimes it's like literally like millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? Like, we're talking like 6 figures, something like that. Sorry, 9 figures probably, 9-figure trades that are being negotiated off exchange, because if they just happen publicly, just one huge volume spike in an option during the day. But that's where those like option accounts on Twitter and stuff like that, they're posting those block trades, and those over-the-counter like negotiated trades that are like block trades are negotiated like during the day, but they'll show up at the end of the day. Whereas there's like a sweep trade, which would be like a very bullish position. If somebody wanted to buy options, they just do it in the open market from any exchange. Then there's like a block trade, which is, I'm mixing up all the names, but there's another type that's just for one specific exchange when that price becomes available. But there's all kinds of weird things that go on behind the scenes in the financial world, and I'm starting to see it with my career now too. Just not exactly because we're non-DTC custodian, but like just talking to like some of these other ones about things that are like, it's just interesting. Let's see. I'll go live after this. I'm here to support our dude, Marantz. Thanks for being here, man. I am going to wind it down in a few minutes, but I'm actually going to run Mario Super Sluggers on the Wii later with my brother. We're going to turn to a little bit of like a drinking game or something like that, but it's going to be great because Mario Sluggers is one of my favorite games as a kid on the Wii, and honestly, I just think it's great, so I want you guys to check it out. Excuse me. But yeah, we'll talk a little GameStop while we play too, best we can. But Sluggers is going to be fun. But definitely also, I want to continue to understand this. What is ComputerShare's DTC reference number or participation number used for? Also, I'm going to have to cross-reference because now I'm just noticing. Number here is 2415. I don't know exactly, remember exactly when I got that. I could find it elsewhere. But over here, it says 7807, so that's their DTC number. Maybe their reference number is different, but I don't know. I have to check that because that's potentially, I just poked a hole in the theory I kind of had before. Solid. What do you do for work? Or I bought a PS5 today at GameStop, spent a total of $800. All 3 GameStops I were at packed. That's awesome, man. I love to hear that GameStop's packed, and that's awesome you got a PS5. Low-key, I do want one, but I'm really trying to save money right now for some other things, and of course, I love buying GameStop. So right now, I'm not buying a PS5, but that's awesome, man. Definitely, you should stream some games that you play, Marantz. That'd be sick. And what do I do for work? So I do back office transfers. Basically, I work for a company that does what's called alternative asset investing. So we don't like provide, we're also something called a passive custodian. We're not like telling people, oh, invest in this, invest in that. We just allow people to invest in things like private equity. What else? I'm totally blanking out. Basically, forms of private equity, right? Basically, it's actually what's called a self-directed IRA. So self-directed IRA is basically you do private assets within your IRA. It's a lot to explain, and you might have actually heard of it with GameStop, but the tricky thing is it's in the name of the custodian, and my company that I work for, remember I said they're non-DTC, so we don't hold any public stock. We only transfer in cash and private assets. So in order to move your shares into a self-directed IRA LLC, you would have to transfer your shares from your account into our account, then to your IRA LLC. But since we can't hold public assets, you're not allowed to skip that step, like for reporting reasons, so we can't allow it at our job. But basically, I do like IRA transfers. So like I'll call another company and be like Pershing, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, I'm like, what's going on with the transfer? And anytime I'm calling in, it's non-ACAT. So that's how I kind of got to understand that ACAT thing. Peter Thiel and the $1 billion IRA. Yeah, no, I think he had a self-directed IRA. He was like one of the largest people to have it. But basically, it's crazy. Because just seeing the back office, how it works, just like we're non-ACAT. And that's where it really clicked with me. I'm like, oh, that's what this DTC participation list is. Your bank's affiliates in the U.S. broker must then request shares to be transferred by Depository Trust Company's direct registration profile system and enter the ComputerShare DTC number 7807. Yeah, so the thing is, since my company doesn't have like a DTC number, we wouldn't be able to do that. But I'm thinking you're referencing that from the other page I had pulled up here. But the crazy thing is, and I also don't want to like reveal the name of the company I work for. Like, I don't know if there's like rules and stuff or whatever. Also, just keep to myself. But it's funny because somebody made a post on Superstock about a self-direct, like how you can the DRS self-directed IRA. So I've talked to people, and it's crazy to think I might have talked to one of my subscribers, but obviously, as I said, we're a passive custodian, so I can't like speak on things, you know what I mean? Like, I can't like say to them like, hey, check out my YouTube channel, since they're talking to me about GameStop. But I've talked to people who've called in, and it's funny, if you call into my company, people will be like, Noah, take this call, like explain it to them, because everybody knows like I'm the GameStop guy at the office. Nobody quite understands why, but like I just said, just remember GameStop, just remember. But basically, I've talked to people and been like, I'm sorry, we're a non-ACAT custodian, so for that reason, you can't transfer your shares in and then transfer them to the IRA LLC. But I'll say to them, so that maybe they low-key know, like I know what they're talking about. I'm like, the only way you would be able to do it is by selling and repurchasing, but I feel like that might not be something you're interested in, because I know, obviously, like if it were me personally, there's no way, Jose, because I thought about this structure, but the only way I could do this, and I would have to pay to set up an IRA LLC, is to then buy new shares of GameStop in an IRA, but it would be in my computer share IRA LLC. But that's a whole, I'm kind of probably like saying a bunch of gazillion things. But if you do have an IRA LLC to do computer share, just be careful. Make sure you trust your custodian, because I'm in the transfers. I call some of these other custodians to do like transfers, and some of them take a long time. That's all I'm going to say. So, and they probably aren't run the best. But again, I don't want to talk too much about my job. I don't know what I'm allowed to say and whatnot. But basically, long story short, I work in IRA transfers, either alternative asset transfers or mostly cash. But honestly, I really enjoy my job. It's a nice thing to work in private assets. Considering when I started, that was just around the time I was really starting to grasp everything going on. Actually, I started a little bit after I started my YouTube channel, come to think of it. But starting there and realizing we were non-DTC custodian was like, wow, this is a place I want to work, considering everything going on right now. Also, I think if I worked for like a bank or something, I probably wouldn't be allowed to like have a YouTube maybe. I don't really know the rules. What's up, Tetron and Co? Beats by Hometown Brew. What is up? What is up? Thank you for being here. I'm actually going to hop off soon because I'm going to eat and prepare. Then I'm going to come back with a Mario Super Sluggers stream on the Wii. It's going to be amazing. Come check it out. But yeah, I think I am going to wrap it up here. Again, see, this individual here has moved most of their shares to book. The book thing, again, that's all just theorized, again, based on what I'm understanding with dividend reinvestment program and the fact that ComputerShare does have a DTC participation number, and seeing this little piece of information here, how they're using this to carry out the transfer. If you were to theoretically transfer shares to a broker, they go into plan first, it seems like. So definitely going to keep an eye on that. But thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you can make it later for Mario Super Sluggers. It's going to be a great time. We're going to have a couple drinks, make a couple fun little rules. It's going to be great. But thank you so much. Appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much. Have a good night if I don't see you later.